Still don't know how I feel about this daft mic. I think it is a cool idea, but at the same time, I don't know. I think the quality could be better. But again, for whatever it was, 28 quid, it's not bad. So anyway, we're on our way up to get the results of my knee scan. So as you had heard in the week 3 video, my knee pops and it's uncomfortable. I struggle to engage my quad as well. You'll be able to see it from my physique update. My right quad, you can see basically the 4 bits, whereas my left quad is just flat, and that's because I can't really engage my middle bit of the quad. It's strange. Like when I tried to do leg extension and stuff a couple of weeks ago, my knee was a bit dodgy. Like it was, oh, traffic police have stopped someone. Oh, shocking. Yeah, my left leg was mega shaky, and it's like I can't file the muscles properly. It's so strange. But anyway, when I do leg press and stuff, I feel as if it disengages as it pops. So we had a MRI scan a couple of weeks ago, and now we're heading up to get the results. But every time I go up, because it's with private health with my work, which is good, but they don't have anything in Carlisle. The closest they have is either Durham or Glasgow, and Durham is across west to east and is a nightmare because the roads there are essentially like a single lane with the odd overtaking, whereas to Glasgow it's just jump on the M74, I think it is, whatever it is, and 80 miles, literally 80 miles just on this motorway, so 3 lanes. So much easier, much better. An hour and 40 minutes away, something like that. So the options that he said to me before, which is the most likely cause he had said for my knee was scar tissue, which potentially, because my running either has broken a bit of cartilage running for my marathon, or it's caused an increase in the scar tissue from the compounding. This is my logic. As you know, with healthcare providers, even private, they don't really give you any time of day. They're kind of in, out, and that's it. Especially doctors, they don't care. And so, not don't care, you know what I mean? Although I'm not going to do the whole pandering, God bless the doctors, but they don't sit down and go would do you want to return to, give me more of what's been happening, etc. They just are where's it sore? Cool, this is the remedy. And so the remedy he was saying to me is either A, cortisone injection, or if it's bad enough, B, they'll go in and clean out the scar tissue of my knee. But I've been looking up today cortisone injections because I want to be armed a little bit should that be the outcome, if it's not broken meniscus or something, if it's literally just scar tissue build-up. I want to know my rebuttals are going to be, because it's a nightmare you go to doctors. They basically just tell you you're going to get a cortisone injection. Before, when I went up, they were saying I was going to get an injection, and I was like, what injection? Is that cortisone injection? And I was like, oh, okay. So he's also not native English speaker, so it's kind of I was trying to talk to him, and it's as if he didn't really understand me. I had to say stuff a couple of times, and then it was as if his English was semi-broken. So it's not the best place to be when you're by the way, my knee hurts, I'm 25, I don't want to have a knee replacement in 20 years. I want my knee to be perfect so I can run and I can work out and stuff, but they don't really talk to you, which, it's just frustrating. So we'll go and see if the meniscus is torn, surgery. If it's cortisone, I don't know if I'll get it, because it seems to be that the anti-inflammatory properties have either a side effect or it's an effect of it that causes the cartilage and ligaments around it to degrade. So it's as if what the idea for scar tissue is that they inject it and that it degrades some of the scar tissue, but really in the same kind of way as chemo, at least from what I can tell in my brief reading up is that it doesn't just kill the bad cells, and then in this case the bad cells being scar tissue cells, it just kind of destroys the cells there. So if I've already had, ligament reconstruction, and so my ACL probably won't snap again because it should be much stronger. But the cartilage has already been torn, and in this time, I don't know what's happened. We'll find out. But it's not something that I want to be doing at this age, 25, to be getting cortisone injections, because it normally isn't just one. It's like you just keep getting it topped up until you need a knee replacement. So it's not the best. It's not a curable means. But we'll see. It was supposed to be leg day today or yesterday, but I skipped it because I thought I don't want to go in and potentially do more damage when I could then find out that same day if that was bad for me to do or not. So shoved that to tomorrow. But as for physique update, yeah, looking pretty good. I think last week ended up being a maintenance week, but I was able to recomp a little bit, I think, just because I'm still gaining my muscle back and there's a bit of fat in that and up to calories. Anyway, talk about that later. Because I'm driving, it's obligatory. You have to eat and drive. There is no point in driving without eating. It is so boring. So I've got wraps, some sriracha chicken wraps, and some mini wraps. So it's like 60 calories each, or 80 calories each wrap, something like that. I don't know. But then we also have some skips, 70 calories in that, and then ice rings. I don't know, 93 calories in that apparently. So, nice healthy lunch because it's 4 p.m, which is meal 3 for me. Appointment's at 5:45. Well, I'll see you after the appointment. And just like that, it's over. So, we're back in the road, almost in a pathetic fallacy manner, whatever the words would be. It's raining. So we go in, we see the doctor, and he's basically like, your knee is fucked up and I don't know why. So I'll put a picture on screen now of what a healthy knee should look like, then a healthy knee that's had ACL reconstruction, and then my knee. So you'll notice that round the insertion where they go into the bone to attach the top of your new ACL is all white. Now all that white stuff is fluid. So first kind of thing the doctor says to me is like, it might be an infection, but he's not too sure because the whole setup of the ACL confuses him a little. At first he thought I would have had a metal screw. We got an x-ray and I don't have a metal screw. So then he assumed it was an absorbable screw because in the x-ray it's just a tube that you can see like a lines in the bone like that. However, as you can see from, or well, you won't be able to see. However, my knee actually has a screw popping out of it in the MRI. So in the X-ray, there was no screw that you could see. It was just like lines of where the screw could be. So he thought absorbable. But then in the MRI, it almost looks like a metal screw, but it can be a metal screw. So I did an MRI and it didn't rip out, and it didn't show up as metal on the X-ray. So he doesn't know what that material is. So he's contacting the hospital I got my ACL reconstruction done at like 9 years ago to see if they can tell him what material was used. Because it wasn't the absorbable screw, but it wasn't a metal screw. So the main problem here is that I feel like the screw is further out than it used to be. I get tension in the front of my knee that I never used to get. And this is only happened since my marathon training. and then the attachment, so the screw is attached to the ligament, and that ligament is inserted into the bone. And it's that point of insertion that has all of the inflammation. So obviously my worry is, oh my god, my kneecap is degenerating from that insertion point. Maybe I'm being dramatic, very possibly. However, even the doctor was kind of like saying, it could just be scar tissue and then you've overloaded it, and this is like the inflammation from me overloading it, which maybe, because I have just started back to leg pressing and stuff as well, but it just kind of like opens up a can of worms now, because the ligament's fine, the cartilage is fine, but the bone has liquid around it because it's inflamed. And so what he's going to do is he's going to find out the materials. I think he said based on that he's going to then get a blood test. I don't know why he didn't do it there. I meant to ask at the end, but it kind of like it ushered me out. But I need a blood test to see if there's an infection, he was saying. And then he's like, depending on that stuff, I'll probably get a cortisone injection, and I asked him about how permanent a solution that is, and he's like, well, we'll put it in, see if it helps, how it is, and months later, if it's still bad, you could potentially get surgery. And he's like, but the problem with getting more surgery is that more scar tissue, which I understand. The popping in my knee, because there's a bit of pain around where that swelling is, but the popping of my knee, he's thinking, as he said, there's a ligament from your hip down to your kneecap. He's meaning like your IT band ligament. And for that, he was saying that the liquid under that, when you bend your knee so far, the liquid will be getting moved and popping that, or it will feel like it's popping, but it's just the IT band like moving or something. Which I'm not fully convinced, but I think I can see the rationale behind how that's potentially what's happening. So, long story short, ligament's fine, the meniscus is fine, like all the cartilage is fine, but there's sign of inflammation at the site of whatever injection on the bone of my knee. Kind of makes me feel like, but because I've always been out working out and stuff, and now it's like I can't even run 20 minutes without having pain. I can't leg press and stuff without popping. I can't elliptical without kneecap pain for like 5 minutes. Cycling, a little bit of pain too. And it's just so frustrating because I don't just work out that to be healthy. Like, I always do it like this thing, like proving stuff to myself and pushing myself. And so it's just frustrating because it's he was kind of saying, if you can live with this, live with it. That's the best case scenario. And if you can't, if it's that bad that you can't live with it, then we'll see what we can do to resolve it. And it just makes me kind of sad and frustrated because it's my fear / worry from it all is that he's basically looking at it and going, I don't know what's going on. It's kind of, if it's so sore that you need to do something, let's start exploring this avenue of you needing a knee replacement in a couple of decades. Or if you can, just kind of stay off it. And it's just like, it's kind of like someone saying to you, like, you'll never run a marathon again. You'll never, bodybuild properly because you can't push a lot of weight. And that's not exactly what they said, but you know what I mean. It's frustrating, man. But we'll find out what's happening. Because as I'm saying all this, I'm obviously starting to now realise I'm like, like the whole Casey Neistat thing. It's like, told he'll never be able to run again, and it's like, I'll show you who's running me. And then he ran, so source of inspiration. But I don't know. It's just from going from like, oh, my meniscus might be torn. Oh, that sucks. Where am I going here? To, oh, like your bone might be messed up in some way. But we'll see, man. Anyway, that service station. Although it's just Costa. I want fuel. I'm so confused. Where's the ESSO? How am I? Aha. Anyway, I'll have a think and I'll report back on how I'm feeling. 'Cause this is just initial thoughts of, frustration and disappointment.